3 things that all men can learn from Steven Crowder's divorce.
I commented on my ongoing divorce on Tuesday, requesting privacy in the best interest of the family, but also by court order agreed upon by all parties. Look, broken marriages are ugly, and in them people do ugly things. Myself, of course included, I would never claim otherwise. However, due to recent misleadingly edited leaks to the tabloid press without context and not subject to consequences of the court, well, if not privacy, the next best option is truth.
And I personally don't have a dog in this fight, so I'm going to try to stick to that topic of just what us men can learn from this situation. Since it's blowing up, it's getting a lot of coverage everywhere, and I don't know the nuances of their relationship. Frankly, for the sake of this video, that won't matter, but these are all things that men need to know, especially if you're considering getting married. So the first thing to learn about Steven Crowder's divorce is that money, prestige, status, height even, do not make you immune to divorce. And I want to put that out there because I know a lot of red pill channels or masculinity channels will talk about, you got to have the money, you got to have the status, even the good physique to get the girl you want. And sure, absolutely, no doubt that's going to help. But when it comes to marriage, that does not make you immune. So if you get all of that stuff, that does not mean that, okay, I got it all done, now I can relax, get married, trust the government and the court systems if anything bad does come up. Because Steven Crowder, looks like here from Google, is 6'2", so he's above 6 foot tall. He is a pretty well-built man from what I've seen. He works out and all that stuff, so he goes to the gym, pretty strong, and in a no homo type way, I think is a pretty good looking dude. So he's got looks, he's got so much money, he's got height, he's got the build, he's got the status. Everyone knows who he is. He started that whole change my mind segment, made that famous. So lesson number 1 there is we can learn is that does not make you immune from today's marriage and divorce with our culture and society almost praising the breakup of traditional marriages. You got to be super duper careful. All right, number 2, the second thing we can learn is that religion doesn't protect you. Religion doesn't make you immune. Steven Crowder is a conservative, what do you want to call it? Media person. Religion was a big part of their marriage, or at least from what I understand. This is shout out to Undead Chronic. He's got a lot of channels because I think they've gotten shut down over the years, but Undead Chronic made this post from Steven Crowder. He wrote this, I don't know what the date was, but it was a man's top 5 reasons to grow up and get married. And so just so everyone can understand this, and I know that's such a hard thing to hear for men that grow up with religion and really want that traditional marriage and all that stuff. And of course, some marriages work. I know there's going to be comments where people are like, well, my marriage works, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, like we went over, this guy, Steven Crowder, has everything you can check for as far as the Chad category almost. Plus, he's religious, she's religious, and that did not protect him. If anything, that would be the biggest saving grace, because when you are still religious in these type of settings and divorce is kind of frowned upon still in those areas, that alone shields you from a lot of let's get divorced because it's not working out, because there's so much social pressure in your religious groups around you or your church you go to. But in this case, it did not matter. Again, of course, this is a specific scenario, but goes back to he has all the boxes ticked of the guy that women want. He found a religious woman, and it still didn't work out. And now the third thing us men can learn from Steven Crowder's divorce, it's going to be something that we'll continually learn, is more of this plays out and airs out. Crowder just posted a video very recently as I'm filming this about how if he needs to, if it's going to get ugly, he's going to start releasing these other things. So it could get bad.
I commented on my ongoing divorce on Tuesday, requesting privacy in the best interest of the family, but also by court order agreed upon by all parties. Look, broken marriages are ugly, and in them people do ugly things. Myself, of course included, I would never claim otherwise. However, due to recent misleadingly edited leaks to the tabloid press without context and not subject to consequences of the court, well, if not privacy, the next best option is truth. So today, I have filed a motion to officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record. Finances, relevant medical records, including mental health history or evaluations, depositions, and any motions or sanctions from the courts of Texas. I will not be leaking private marital information to the press, but if the privacy agreements are not respected by all parties, I will address all that is a matter of irrefutable legal record in full context next week.
The thing you got to understand is the court system. And what I've learned from a lot of digging in, a lot of help from guys commenting on this channel, other channels around, and just hearing stories about divorce court and family court, stuff that you will not hear as a man. You will not understand this unless you start to look into it, because it's not shown in the mainstream. When guys get screwed over in divorce court, it's not really talked about in the mainstream. But what you'll find is that when you walk into court, you as the man are going to be looked at as the perpetrator, and she is going to be looked at as the victim. That is how people are trained through law these days. And there's a number of reasons you can go back and talk about this, the Duluth model and all this stuff that kind of created this bias, but it is there. And so when you walk into court, you are going to have to defend yourself as the man. And as we've seen with this security footage of the Ring video, it's going to be very easy, especially in this case, to make Crowder very much look like the abuser and her the victim. And that might very well be the case. It could. But regardless, and men, if you've been through this and you know what this is like, share your story with the guys that are going to say, no, that's not true, all that. It's like, you're going to be looked at as the perpetrator regardless if you have this video like Crowder has out, which quite frankly, it doesn't look that great to see this, but divorce can be ugly, as you'll also find out. So there is going to already be that court bias against you as the man. And this is where it gets really tough too, because not only that, you're going to start to see not only the court system, but people around the situation. We are socialized as people to almost think that way too. When there's a divorce or something like that, it's like, and if the girl comes out and says something like, yeah, he was he was emotionally abusive or something like that, it's like,
but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it.
We all tend to, as a natural bias, take the woman's side in these stories. Like, oh no, we got to protect her. I mean, I don't know if that is, I guess I got to check myself. Maybe that's one of my own biases that I definitely know that I had. It's getting better as I've learned about this stuff. But naturally, maybe that's that protector instinct. But when you hear something bad, it's easy to take the woman's side. And so you're going to see in a lot of the media surrounding this, people are reaming on Crowder. And again, he could be in the wrong. I've heard other stories about how he treated his employees and all that. So he could very well just be a total dick. But for us normal people that aren't Steven Crowder, us men, when you go into that divorce court, you're going to be looked at as a perpetrator. And then women are going to be so good Women are their own PR teams, their own public relations experts. They got their own marketing squad going on up in their mind about how to relay the divorce, the information, things that happened, and really make it look like guy bad, woman good. And that's only going to further the already bias that these court systems have, so that men, when you go to divorce court, when you go to family court, it will not be pretty for you. It will not be pretty at all. And again, I'm not sticking up for him because I don't know enough about the situation, but just start to take in the bias that people are going to have. When you start reading about this, we hear stories about this, when you see other people do videos about this, just start to take in what people's bias is going to tend to be, and it's going to make Crowder bad, pregnant wife good. And again, that could be the case, but this is a blown up example that everyday men could still learn from, to understand, even if you don't have this video evidence of you coming out and kind of looking pretty aggressive and controlling.
You give up so easily? I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take that in.
If you don't have that type of stuff come out, the divorce lawyers, they are experts in getting that to come out from your wife or your ex-wife, because that's part of how they're going to make money. That's part of how the courts are going to make money. And man, it's just hard to say this. You guys, my parents are still together. A lot of the people in my family, like relatives, still together. Happy. Well, I don't know how happy all of them are. I can't, I guess, judge that. But from the outside, quite good, successful marriages, you could say. So I'm not coming in with a chip on my shoulder about this. But I had to learn. And so guys that don't know, that haven't looked into this, I just suggest really take your time. If you're thinking about committing legally to a woman, take your time to look in to stuff like divorce court, family court. Because if you don't, and you go in with the best of intentions like Steven Crowder did, I'm sure, it can blow up in your face. And man, I do not wish this type of drama on anyone, for him, his ex-wife, either one, having all this public and all that. And I know, my bad, I'm perpetuating that by doing this video. Quite honestly, my bad, hypocrite. But this is something that, maybe a lot of those conservative men that followed him or something like that, they're going to hear about this divorce, and now maybe they'll at least start to look into some of these other things. And, you know, I've said it a million times, I like a 2-family household for children. I think that is the best way to go, but this needs to be so clear to so many guys that they just refuse marriage until laws are changed, because or else this is just going to happen over and over and over and over again. And then our society, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, man. When you have single parents raising children and you're sending them to public schools. I was an ex-public school teacher, and now they're teaching children. I don't even know what I can say on YouTube anymore. You know how crazy schools are now. Basically, moral of the story is, guys, gotta learn from this. Be smart about this, because I'm sure Crowder thought, you know, he was all good, set for life when he made that commitment. But you gotta be realistic about it these days. All right, take care, guys. Don't forget, subscribe. Like, comment, share the video. Definitely subscribe.